Half of this stuff is doing good staging. So in today's video, we're going to be going over what you need to know to get started in real estate photography and doing interior shots. So hope you enjoy, hope you get something out of this video, and let's go. Alright, so first let's talk about camera gear. So that's definitely the biggest question people ask about any type of photography they're getting into is, what gear do I need to get? So for the best shots, you need a full frame camera with a 16-35 lens and a tripod. That's it. Or you can get a crop sensor camera. That's how I started. I had a Canon Rebel and a 11-16 lens and a tripod. And yeah, that worked great for years and years. So you've got plenty of megapixels to work with, and especially if you're shooting HDR or with off-camera flash, you can have plenty of dynamic range to get good shots. So shooting with a 16-35 will definitely cover you for a long time. You can get the wide shots with the 16 and you can zoom in with the 35, especially if you have one that's 2.8, you can get some cool detail shots. But over time, I actually added a 50mm to my kit to where I can do even more close-up detail shots, and hardly anybody in my area was doing that, so that's something that really helped me stand out. So in a competitive market, it makes sense to try to do stuff like that. So I'll link down below a kit that you could start out with, and basically the kit that I'm using right now after doing it for like 8 years or something. So up to you depending on where you're at. So for camera settings, you're gonna wanna shoot anywhere from ISO 100 to 400. For like the most clear, clean images, you're gonna wanna shoot f5.6 to 8 for interiors, depending on how big the room is. So you can pretty much have everything in focus and just, you know, nice and sharp. It's one of the few industries where showing all the detail, not having blurry backgrounds and super creative shots actually works better, because really, whenever you're getting into this, you got to start thinking that you are documenting a product and you're wanting to showcase that in the most visually simple, less distracting way possible for potential buyers. That's at least for the wide shots. For detail shots, what I like to do is shoot with my 50mm at either f like 1.4 to like 2, 2.8, depending on how much detail you want to show. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For the settings, you're gonna wanna shoot and just adjust your shutter speed to match your exposure that you need. So now let's get into the main compositions that you need to know for real estate photography. So the easy way to start is to do as many straight on shots as you can, which are basically 1-point perspectives. So for these shots, you're gonna be parallel to the wall that's against you. So in this shot, we're parallel to that wall, and we've got all of our verticals straight as well. So that helps a lot with your set looking consistent as a group, and also it just makes it to where it doesn't look like there's any structural issues with the house like it can if it's a little bit off, or you know, it's just not distracting to the viewer. You want them to be able to just focus on the house, focus on the nice things about it, and move on. That's it. See, both of these are pretty much straight. It's a little bit off, but it's easy to fix. And then this is straight, coffee table is straight. We're pretty much good to go. All right, for the next one, we're gonna be doing a straight on shot showing kind of the whole room. We wanted to show all the windows on this shot. So here's the setup. Got back as far as I could. And there we go. We've got nice centered line. We can see over everything. This is a good example of HDR coming in handy, because you're gonna be able to see the inside nicely exposed, and you're gonna see some detail through the window. I had to jump in here and do some iPhone shots for comparison. It's pretty crazy what you can do because the iPhone has HDR built in. Look at that. Crazy, crazy, crazy. If you're keeping your lines straight and you're composing nice shots, you can do a lot with your iPhone too, using these tips. So a lot of times you can't do a straight on shot, but you can do a corner shot. So for these, I like to keep them pretty close to 45 degrees as much as possible. Got this nice view, and I'm scooted back like this far behind the couch so that you can see some foreground. You got this nice ledge in the foreground, and you've got the whole view of the couch so you could imagine yourself sitting there. Pretty simple, but this works for like smaller rooms or like restrooms and stuff like that too. Good to know. So whenever you're doing these photos with the long shutter speed, you want to put your camera on a 2-second timer, because whenever you push the shutter, you might not realize this normally, but whenever you push the shutter, it shakes your camera a little bit. So with the slow shutter speed, it might make you have a blurry image that you don't notice until later. So 2-second timer, you're gonna have a lot clearer shots. So for the kitchens, I like to raise the tripod up higher than the countertops because you want to see over them sometimes. So like if it was lower, you wouldn't be able to see this little part where you can see through and see the other side. And also you can see a little bit more floor. We had to point down a little bit, which is easy to fix in post on photos. This is a good way you can see the whole kitchen. You can see the dining room pretty good. And it's a pretty good straight on shot. You can see the details on the ceiling too. And yeah, on to the next thing. All right, raise the tripod up full height, pretty much. And we're getting an angle shot. That's another main angle that I like to do for the corner shot, where it just shows like the whole kitchen and the whole dining room, just nicely angled, 45-degree angle. Good connecting shot. You don't want to turn it like that too much. You don't want to turn it like that too much. It's got to stay pretty much focused on that angle. Nice. So for bedrooms, I like to shoot with the tripod about a little bit higher than the doorknob. So as you can see, doorknob's like right here, camera's like right here. Just gives it a nice good perspective. You don't get too much of the ceiling, you get a good amount of floor in your shot, and that's important if you're selling a product. So for the primary bedroom or kitchen or living room, those are the main rooms where I like to use the 50mm and get some nice detail vignettes. Showing these little vignettes is really just a way to show a little bit more of the like intimate details of houses, and just helps people imagine themselves living there and what they could do with that space. All right, now to one of the biggest questions that I get is, how do you get started? Okay. I know a lot of real estate photographers, and a lot of them, they've got different stories, but really after having experience in the industry, what I would do is I would practice on your own house, wherever you are, even if it's an apartment. You can get some good practice in and get good at editing, get good at compositions, staging, all that stuff. So I would obviously do that. If you have any friends with cool houses, do that too. Go over there and do some shoots, do some staging. You know, most people are probably happy to get some shots of their house for free. Why not? Especially the outside. People might want to like print it or something, so you could trade people, obviously. So next, once you get some images, if you have like model houses or builders in your area, I would reach out to them and see if you could trade them some images of their house they could use for maybe like social media or something, because they always love to post things. You could even do like a picture of them in the house, like a sales agent, and trade that for getting to spend like an hour shooting some sample photos in their model house. And here's why: because if you're getting into this industry, you want to have some really good photos in your portfolio. Basically, if you're shooting a model house, they're professionally designed, they're professionally staged, they've got nice furniture, all the colors match, they have nice lighting. So if you get some of those images in your portfolio, it's gonna look like you're already shooting like high-end houses. Your photos are gonna look a lot better because their staging's awesome. It's a good way to start building your industry connections too, because they know all the realtors that are in the area trying to sell their model houses. So the main thing, if you're getting started, get some good sample images, get some good practice, get a little bit faster at doing it, and then start leveraging your skills to get more better images for your portfolio, and then start approaching realtors for actual paid jobs. Then you're pretty much going to be ready to go. That's about it. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this was fun, and I'm gonna go to the beach. So I'll see you guys in the next one.